Hello, I'm Graham Jones and welcome to channel KT4 broadcasting live on Facebook and YouTube. You can join in by sending in questions during the show. Just press the comments button on the screen. Don't forget to click the like or share buttons. If you're watching on YouTube, please click to subscribe to channel KT4. It's free. I'm so pleased to welcome to my virtual studio Peter Webb, the founder of the charity Stoneleigh Job Club. Thanks for joining me here, Peter, and welcome to channel KT4.
Great to be here with you, Graham, and thank you for welcoming me on board KT4.
Oh, my pleasure. Do you know something, Peter? Doing this show week in and week out, what I'm finding is in our wonderful community, there are all these organizations and support groups which help in our community. And suddenly, I find out about Stoneleigh Job Club, and I'd never heard about it before. So I'm absolutely fascinated. But first of all, what inspired you to set up the charity, Peter?
Thank you for asking, Graham. Well, in 2012, 13, I worked and helped set up other job clubs, largely church-run job clubs. And the mission with those was much the same as Stoneleigh Job Club. It's to help other people. You know, I enjoy helping other people and getting them started, particularly those people who are really disadvantaged in life. Maybe that's from straightforward unemployment, maybe that's a bad start in life, but I really like helping people.
That's a great thing to do. Look, Peter, I've got a little video that I've snuck off your Facebook site, and but I think it's really clever. I'd like you to tell me who put this together for you, because it is very, very good. It's very short, but I think it says everything. Now, that's really clever, Peter. Could you tell me something about it? How did it come into being?
Yes, that was done by a really great coach called Sal that I have, who's been with me since the beginning in 2015. She did this only about a month ago, really an initiative on her own. She just got to work on it, and I think she did a couple of these. So I'm really happy for her, and I think we're going to be using those videos time and time again. So thank you, Sal.
Yeah, I think it's really, really good, Peter. And you know, I think it's another part of what's been going on in this kind of like lockdown period, that people are finding new skills, and maybe you've got a little bit of time to develop wonderful little videos like that. I think it's great for her to be doing that, and hopefully she'll do quite a bit more as well to help your organization.
Yes, she will. And now I understand you do videos as well, Graham, so I'll be looking to you in the future.
Well, yeah, we do a little bit. And again, you know, it's a self-help thing. I have to say, Peter, the best tutorial that I've ever had is YouTube. Anything you want to work out how to do, it's there on YouTube. Generally, it's an American who wants to talk too much. And but unfortunately, what you have to do is you have to kind of like flit around YouTube to find all the component parts. For example, when I put together channel KT4, how to do this with, for example, let's show off, and I'll put your little ticker tape on here at the bottom. It's working out how do you do that, and that takes a little time, so we can do it like that now. So I had to work out, how do I do that? How do I put the overlays on? How do I start the show with the music and everything? And they're all little bits you can find on YouTube. So you put them all together. And of course, lockdown, being in the entertainment business, there's not a great deal for me to do. So I've kind of like reinvented myself and embraced technology, which has been a marvelous thing to do,
Brilliant.
Peter.
Brilliant, Graham. I'm a great
Yeah,
believer in lifelong learning too, and I can see you are, so that's incredible.
no, absolutely, I am. So let's get back to the job in hand, Peter, and talking about the wonderful work of the Stoneleigh Job Club. So the charity is all about helping people find employment. So who's eligible to apply for your support?
Anyone is eligible, Graham. Anyone from 18 up to whenever. 70. Do we have a retirement age these days? Anybody who comes to us, we will help. We get referrals, we get drop-ins, and of course we were working non-virtually. We were working through the Stoneleigh Library and through Epsom Job Centre prior to the COVID and the lockdown. So, you know, people don't have to be made redundant or on furlough. They can come to us. They want to talk about new opportunities they might be exploring. But essentially, most people have been unemployed in some shape or form. They may be on the start of their careers too. They may want to come to us, you know, at that early age when they want some advice about the right way to go. I mean, what we're trying to instill, as well as finding work and jobs for them, is a sense of hope and confidence, rebuilding their confidence if they haven't, you know, if their confidence has gone from losing a job. I don't know about you, Graham, but I've been made redundant. I know what it felt like. And I know for a lot of people, it can be a shattering experience and they can take it personally. So if you can get beyond that and find a way forward and about restructuring your life and repurposing it, that's what we're here to help.
I think it's really good. And, you know, we were talking earlier this morning, you know, about all these various charities and the great work that you're doing. But, you know, I know myself that, you know, 10 years ago, 11 years ago, I suddenly found myself, I moved to Epsom and Ewell. I didn't have a job. I had to kind of like reinvent myself and try and rework it. If I'd have known about Stoneleigh Job Club 10 years ago, I'd have been knocking on your door. But also, alongside of that, what I'm discovering in my journey of living in Epsom and Ewell and my discovery of this wonderful community that we live in is that there is such a big talent base of people who can help. And one of the great things I think you've done, and is a key component part of your work, is for your team of volunteer job coaches. And I'm amazed about this. But so what kind of coaches do you have? And well, the big question, of course, is, are you looking for more? And I've got a volunteer graphic. And I just want to show this again. Whoever put this together for you, it is so clever as a graphic, and it's about volunteering. Here we go. Isn't that incredible?
Yeah, yeah.
Now, actually, if I do some volunteering work, I need to find out who owns that, because I probably want to try and get the rights so that I could use that for something in the future.
Yeah. Well, just to talk about volunteering, I've been a volunteer for about 10 years in different capacities. I volunteer for Citizens Advice in Epsom. That's brilliant, and the brilliant work they do there. There's a plug for them. And I volunteered for Epsom Health Walks, started off with that, and that's another one. So I really recommend everybody to do a number of different volunteering opportunities if they can. My volunteers and the team of volunteers are a fantastic group of people. Some have been with me since the beginning, about 6 years ago. 3 or 4 of those I want to mention, particularly Anne, and I've mentioned Sal and Mark, who's the treasurer. And then a whole bunch of new ones have joined in the last 6 months. You know, some live locally, some nearby. They all come with different backgrounds. Might be in training, they might be in teaching, they might be in HR. They have a feel for people. They have social skills. They want to help people in general, and that's probably the criteria that I look for in them. And they're all inspirational in their own way. They work very hard. They take on other activities as well. They're keen to come to events and help publicise the job club, meet other people. So they are a fantastic asset to have as a team. We have regular Zoom team meetings. We can't, obviously, in COVID times, meet up face to face as we did before, but we will be going back to that, hopefully.
I think that's very good. And again, I think one of the important things to understand, it depends on what side of the fence you're actually on here. You know, for the volunteers, you know, they've got all the skills and the experience, but for the people who are looking for jobs, it's a bit like trying to learn something new. If you have a mentor or a supporter who can just advise you, it kind of like takes a lot of weight off the shoulders, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, necessarily, the work coaches I have in the team have experienced life experience. They've been through work themselves. They are great mentors. They can bring that to the role, never mind any additional training we give them. And they bring an incredible amount of positivity to the role. I know you're going to ask me about that in a minute, but essentially, the role of a coach is to be with somebody as a mentor from the time they come to us, be it on Zoom or in person, to the time they leave us. It has to be a positive, encouraging, enabling, empowering sort of experience, so they go away feeling better about themselves. That's the very least we can do.
I think that's absolutely amazing. We talked about positivity, and again on your Facebook page, and we'll give that a shout out a little later on, and also on your web page, on your Twitter, and on your LinkedIn account as well. I came across a couple of positive, I call them mind maps. That's probably not the right way to talk about them, but let me put it up on the screen and tell me a little bit about it. And again, I'm sure it's one of your very, very clever volunteers that's put this together. There we go.
Yeah, we mentioned the clever volunteer. This is Sal, again, doing something off her own bat, really, and inventing and designing and looking for something visual and coordinated. And what a great asset they are to have these two to enable us to reach out. And we'll be posting these on quite a bit of our social media. I just want to mention somebody else called Maria who's just joined us, who's working full time, but she's just now taken on social media work for us, and she's fitting that in around her full-time employment and adding to it incredibly well. So, and social media, as I know from a learning curve I went on, is a massive area to get good at and to use to use in a way which for your organization. So very impressed with all the things that the coaches are doing.
Yeah, I'm impressed as well. And here's Peter, here's another one, and I just want to put this up again because I think it's really clever. Again, I don't know whether it's one of your team has put this together for you, but it's very clever and powerful.
Yeah. I just want to go back to that thing about positivity there, Graham. I mean, this is another great graphic. Yeah, positivity. I'm a great believer in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, as a means, one of the tools that you can use as a coach to help people reset how they think about themselves, how they reframe their experience. And we are putting coaches through a little training session on this in a couple of weeks' time. It's not for everybody. It's a difficult theory to get hold of. It takes time and effort to learn it and put it into practice, but it is certainly a great coaching tool. And positivity, as I just said, is an important thing to have right from the beginning when people come into the job club to the finish.
Okay, talking about positivity, Peter, I was just thinking, I mean, how many volunteers do you actually have who are your coaches and mentors and people who are doing that sort of thing on the books?
We have 10 on the books at the moment.
Okay, that's brilliant. And so you've been running
just literally this week taking on a new treasurer. Been looking for a replacement for our wonderful treasurer, Mark, who's been trying to leave us now for about 2 years to enjoy his retirement, and just managed to find a treasurer. As you may know, Graham, treasurers are short on the ground, and so I'm very lucky to have found one or two people, and this one, hopefully, we can start very soon.
Yeah, treasurers are definitely starred items. Yeah, yeah, I really support and understand that. Now, I think you said, am I right in this? You've been running now for what, 15 years?
No, 6 years.
6 years, sorry.
2015.
2015. Sorry, yeah. Okay. So you've been running since 2015. How many people have you helped in that 6-year period?
Let me just have a quick look at my stats, which I had here. I'm guessing about 700 people in that time. In our first 4 years, we got approximately 24% into work. So we did very well in those first 4 or 5 years.
That's really good, because I mean, let's give it a positive spin. That's a quarter of all the people who are coming through your doors. You're helping find gainful employment. I think that's a great stat.
We did some calculations on the money saved to HM Treasury in terms of unemployment benefit, etc. I haven't got those to hand, but I know it was working out as a considerable saving. I know that appeals to those people such as accountants who like to have figures everywhere and justify things. I'm not an accountant. I don't justify things by figures. I like to see the value and the values behind helping people.
Okay, and I also think that you have things like you have partnerships and working with government organisations such as Job Help, and I've got a little slide of the Job Help, and this week, of course, is a really important week because it's National Careers Week. I'm sure that you probably don't fund things like that because we'll talk about funding in a minute. But you obviously support, because these are great places where the people who are coming to you can forward them on to these one or two of these initiatives. Am I getting that right?
We can indeed. I mean, we work in partnership with the Job Centre Plus in Epsom particularly. We were located there pre-COVID. We will probably return there. I'm aware of most of the national governmental programs that are offered through the Job Centre Plus. Kickstart is a new one. 18 to 25s are particularly badly affected by the recession as a result of lockdown. I think it's up to about 2/3 of the present unemployment figures could be in that age category. Hospitality is particularly badly affected. So we will be doing at the Job Club our bit to help that age group and get them back into work, encourage them, as I said earlier. National Careers Week is a great program to help people, to get them interested in careers. And I'm all for that. I think you're going to show a link in a moment to the National Careers Week page, which will be great.
I'll put that up now for you, Peter. There it is.
Brilliant.
Okay, so if anybody's watching who wants to pop along, I mean, I know it's Tuesday, it's this week it's happening, but you'll be able to find it on Facebook, on Instagram, Twitter, all those various places. And if in doubt, then of course you can call Peter direct, and I'll give you the number in a little while to do that. So Peter, let's go on. Always, when I talk to charities, I always come down to the bottom line at some point, because charities don't thrive, flourish, and work on fresh air. You have to have some means to help you do the work that you're doing. Even if it's a very small budget, it's still got to be there. So how do you manage to fund it? Is it asking people, if you've got a spare pound in your pocket, or are you using government help or council or borough help to help fund it?
We've been very lucky, really, Graham, from the start. 6 years ago, we got funding from DWP government and from the local residents association, SARA.
Sorry, Peter. Sorry, could it DWP?
Yes, Department of Work and Pensions.
Thanks. But just in case some people don't know what DWP is, and you just mentioned SARA as well.
Yes, Stoneleigh and Oriel Residents Association.
Okay.
As you know,
I thought that could be another one of your wonderful lady volunteers. You never know.
No.
So,
no. As you know, Graham, I'm a councillor in Epsom, and all of Epsom is divided up into resident association wards. So SARA covers 2 wards in Stoneleigh and Oriel. You are based in Cuddington, which is another ward, I believe.
It certainly is, and I have the pleasure and honour of being the vice chair of the Cuddington Residents Association at the moment, and thoroughly enjoying my responsibilities with the Cuddington Residents Association. So that's been another learning curve for me, learning all about residents associations within Epsom and Ewell, and so that's also very good stuff. But you are funded, as you said. You've been very
funded. We've been very lucky. We had subsequent funding from Toyota, then from Community Foundation Surrey, and last year we were funded by the National Lottery COVID-19 Community Fund. I mentioned Anne earlier. She does valiant work for us throughout, and she put a bid in for that, an application for that. And I think it's fair to say we were pleasantly surprised that we got that. And with it came a number of targets, as often comes with funders. But we were resourced to replace a lot of our equipment, our kit. We bought new laptops, etc., etc. We advertised. We spent it on social media advertising, etc., etc. And that has been very beneficial. We're very grateful to National Lottery. We expect to be reporting to them soon. And so we will go on throughout our life applying for new funding. As for donations, we have tried donations. We haven't yet pursued donations fully, but we may do in the future.
I think that when you start getting into the world of funding, there's an awful lot of competition out there, isn't there? And yes. I've found that really you need an expert, somebody who's full-time employed to get you the funding, knows how to put in the applications, knows how to communicate in the right way with government, because it's a lot about communication, isn't it?
Yes.
It helps you get that particular funding. So the fact that you managed to get the National Lottery support right at the start of the process is, to say the least, impressive, Peter.
Thank you very much. And I want to refer to Anne, who is that impressive lady I mentioned just now, for all our hard work doing those applications. You mentioned that, yes, you need a funding strategy if you're a charity. We are not a registered charity. We're a small charity. That cuts us off from some funders, but nonetheless, we apply to others. And Anne is very, very good at locating these and finding ones. So I want to give her a special mention. I think I have, but I want to mention it again.
Yeah, you certainly have, but that's fine. Absolutely delighted for you to do that, Peter. Now, anybody who's watching at the moment, if you'd like to just leave a question for Peter or a comment, just press the comments tab and type it in, and I'll see if I can put it up on screen for you. Peter, if someone's listening feels they could do with your help, what's the best way to contact you in the first instance?
The best way, Graham, is two ways. Either via the website, which I think you might have on here, which is that's right, it's on there. And if they go straight to the website, they can find an application form straight away and just send that back, and we will pick up on that, or phone the number at the bottom. Either way, they will find they are talking to somebody who can make a booking for them almost instantly with a coach.
Okay, what I'll be doing, Peter, after the show today, on the certainly on the Cuddington Facebook page, I'll put that slide up so people can go there and they can read it at leisure. I also put it up on the Channel KT4 Facebook page as well. If you can copy it and putting up on the Stoneleigh and Oriel Residents Association site, let's get it out there so that people can read and decide which way they want to go to try and help.
We'll put it on our own Facebook and Twitter account as well. Okay,
that's fine. Now, Peter, in the future, do you think you'll stay as a virtual delivery job club, which you've adapted to really well, or return to your origins as a face-to-face coaching job club?
That's a very good question. Obviously, it's the sort of question that is probably making all small organizations think about the future. With hopefully the end of COVID coming this summer, but without a date as yet, we are very much dependent on our locations, our venues for that, one of them being the library. So at the moment, we are strategically thinking we may carry on as a 50-50. That's a split between virtual and face-to-face delivery.
I actually think that's the clever way to do it, because again, we talked earlier about this was before the show, by the way, for people watching, that we talked about the nervousness of certain generations of getting back into areas where they're contacting lots and lots of different people. And so if you can provide that sort of virtual world as well, then people can slowly gain in confidence, but can still speak to people like you, Peter, to try and find themselves, employment in the future. I think this is one of the great struggles that we're going to have as we come into the summer. Because I think that the younger folk, the 20s, 30s, maybe 40s, they're going to go straight at it, and they're going to be out restaurants, pubs, barbecues, parties, music festivals, and everything. Whereas I think probably slightly older generation may take it, one step at a time. I'm not sure whether I'm a great football supporter. I'm not sure at this moment in time whether I feel comfortable going down to Fulham Football Club with 20,000 football supporters. It may take a little while before I get confident, as much as I love Fulham Football Club. By the way, that's a shout out for Fulham.
Yes, okay. I'll let you know I'm a Wolves supporter, Graham, so perhaps
we all have our crosses to bear, Peter.
Yeah. Going back to your point, though, I think we found in the virtual time we've been working that obviously not everybody has the advantage of having a laptop or being able to Zoom. So we offered phone coaching, which some have picked up on. There is an issue, not only in Epsom, but perhaps across London, across England, about people who are disadvantaged not being able to access through laptops or through Zoom or through technology as a whole. So, during a lockdown period where they can't do face-to-face, there is a disadvantage there. So, maybe for them to go back to face-to-face, we certainly had more drop-ins before who preferred to perhaps come in, and meet.
Okay, we have a comment that's come in, Peter. So I'll show you another bit of new technology here. Here it is. This is from Alex. There we go. The Job Club has helped so many people. Peter, do you offer anything for entrepreneurs, those that want to start a business? Very good question from Alex.
Yes, I know, Alex. It's a very good question from her. We would like to think we can help people go into self-employment. I know Alex runs and does training courses for entrepreneurs and startups. I'm all for startups. I think it's the major growth area for people going into self-employment. And I do everything to encourage anybody who comes to it, who has the right capabilities, the right resources, and the right character or personality and feels they want to do it. We would certainly have a discussion with them. And we'd be looking to refer them to a suitable startup agency or trainer.
I think that's absolutely excellent, and thank you, Alex, for joining us for a short while. Peter, look, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you about the outstanding work of Stoneleigh Job Club. I'm sure, given the present climate, that you're going to be much in demand in the weeks and months ahead. So, Peter, thank you very much for joining me here on Channel KT4.
Thank you, Graham. Thank you very much for inviting me.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you, Peter. Now, the Cuddingtonian, our local Residents Association magazine, is supported by local businesses. To thank them for their continued support, I'll mention a different advertiser each week. Today, I'd like to thank Elwood Vehicles Limited for their continued support of the Cuddingtonian. A big thank you to Toby and the boys in the workshop, and to Megan in the office, and for everything they do. So Elwood Vehicles Limited, a big thank you for continuing to support all the great magazine that we have. And again, all I can do is say thank you for your continued support. This is Graham Jones on Channel KT4. Join me next time on Tuesday at 12:30. Until then, stay safe. And of course, don't forget to social distance. Bye now.